countries are making ecocide a crime. And this is all the more important considering the climate crisis that we're in the midst of. Obviously, that massive hurricane hitting Florida and hitting Georgia. I hope everyone out there is okay and safe. If you're watching this, I mean, I suppose some people in Florida might be watching this right now, but even if you're watching this later because you didn't have power when it aired or whatever, I hope everything's okay for you. But I'm gonna say, well, this is good news. Obviously, a growing number of countries considering making ecocide a crime, but I'm also going to tell you why this is not enough. Mexico is the latest country where politicians are seeking to deter environmental damage and to get justice for its victims by criminalizing it. Karina Marlon Baron Parales, hope I got close, Congresswoman for Nuevo León, has, is it León? I don't know, has submitted a bill to the Mexican Congress introducing a new crime of ecocide. While damaging the environment is already a civil offense in most countries, recognition of ecocide elevates the most egregious cases to a crime with accompanying penalties. The new bill looks to criminalize, quote, any unlawful or wanton act committed with the knowledge that there's a substantial likelihood of severe and either widespread or long-term damage to the environment. If passed, anyone found guilty of ecocide could be jailed for up to 15 years and fined as much as 1,500 pesos a day. So here's my problem with that bill and most of these bills is that sounds vague enough that I think any corporation with billion-dollar lawyers could probably get around it. Because I'm sure they could probably generally make arguments that, well, yeah, sure, dumping all that crude oil or toxic chemicals harm the environment, but we didn't know that it would harm the environment. We didn't know that dropping fucking millions of gallons of toxins into the ocean would harm the ocean. No one told us. There was no one sent us like a little picture book about it. We just didn't know. It seems very open for people to avoid getting prosecuted by, saying they just were unawares. The thing could happen. Here's an example of how these laws are not really succeeding. Only a few states around the world have criminalized ecocide, including Vietnam, Ukraine, and Russia. Ukraine and Russia both have made ecocide a criminal act. And I don't know that it's changed the behavior of the people in the factories and everything in either of them. Ukraine is currently dropping cluster bombs on people, which... Is there a better way to destroy an environment than fill it with cluster bombs where nobody can go there for hundreds of years because they don't know if they're going to blow up or not? Seems like that's not good for the environment. It's just like everything I've heard about Ukraine, even outside of just the proxy war, is that it's very corrupt. So in a very corrupt system, you pay to pollute. You pay off the regulators. They don't notice that you're polluting. So the fact that Ukraine has passed a law making ecocide illegal, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that has changed zero behavior. Maybe someone got a few more bribes. Maybe a regulator got a few more bribes because of that law. I've never heard anything about, oh yeah, Ukraine really cleaned up their act. No more polluting. There's not been any polluting in Ukraine. France became the first EU country to put ecocide into law in 2021, although the wording is not as strong as campaigners had hoped for. A test case involving carcinogenic chemicals is currently in the courts. So, yes, I support this. I support making ecocide illegal. However, I think there's just really big opportunity for this to not change things. It seems to me corporations will almost always be able to get around something like that. But beyond that, this is capitalism putting trying to put little chains on capitalism is a monster that's eating everything, destroying the planet, shitting out fucking nothingness and cement jungles and just dollar stores, just shitting out garbage everywhere. And each of these things, the law on ecocide is like a little string wrapped around the monster's finger to try and stop it from moving forward, like a little piece of dental floss where it's like, bing, and just bing, breaks the dental floss. And each of these different things, we're gonna make a law saying that oil companies have to play nice, and we're gonna make a law that we're gonna cap your CO2, and if you want CO2, you gotta buy it from another guy who wasn't using his CO2. And each of these things is a little tiny string on the monster that is capitalism and seems to change nothing. You have to change the economic system writ large. And this doesn't mean I'm opposed to these laws. I would rather, countries also signed a deal to promise better biodiversity in the soil and the air and stuff. And they've apparently, like, the countries that signed it, like, one of them has actually abided by it. So I think we have to change the system. We need to go beyond. We can evolve. We've only been in industrial capitalism for a few hundred years, and during that time, we've obliterated everything. So I think we can evolve past it. It's only been here for a few minutes.